Yeah.
Sheikh, we lost you a little bit there.
We are recording. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so let's start. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming for this launch event on a very, very, very busy day. I think there's so much happening today all over the place. But yeah, it's nice to have the small group of people, especially people from the calendar. Very excited to have you. So I'm Nandita. I'm one of the co-founders of the Life of Science, and I will be moderating this session. I just want to start off by saying a note of thanks to STEM peers who are letting us use their Zoom Pro account. So thank you so much, STEM peers. And we really rely on this kind of support in any form, whether it's financial or whether it's just a shared paid account. And that really has been what has taken us through our activities in 2021, which was a very difficult year for grants and everything. So our work was largely crowdfunded, and apart from STEM peers, we received some support from Thakur Foundation, who we are very thankful to. And I also want to take a minute, a few seconds to thank Professor Arun Shukla, who from IIT Kanpur. So Arun got in touch with us shortly after he won the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award this year, and he told us that he wanted to contribute part of the his prize money to us for us to do our work, and this is something that that meant a lot to us, and more so because Shanti Swarup Awards are infamous for uh, year after year hardly recognizing any women. So it meant something to us that Professor Arun was doing this. So apart from him, there were dozens and dozens of our crowdfunders who contributed small amounts and bigger amounts, and that really is responsible for all the work that we did last year, and of course culminating in this calendar that we are launching today. And I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about what last year meant to us. It was a very special year because it was really hard. We were even doubtful whether season 6 could happen because we had no funds starting out, and but because of all of the support that I was talking about, we were able to do, I think, some of our most ambitious and important work. And a lot of our work, a lot of I think the inspiration for 2021 came thanks to a crowdsourced project that we did called 365 Indian Women in Science. So this was a series where we were inviting people from the science community or anyone really to nominate people that they know that we could feature on each day of 2021. So it started on Jan 1st and went on to December 31st. And every single day we were managing to highlight someone, and not just the names that we knew. We came to know about so many different contributions from so many fields, people in different levels of science, people who had inspired someone or the other. So it was such a bank of such a wealth of information for us. And a lot of the people that you see in the calendar, many of you were nominated on our 365 Indian Women in Science, or else we, at some point or the other in our 6 years of work, we have recognized and appreciated your work. I see Ipshita's joined. Very happy. Hi, Ipshita. So we have done quite a bit of I think important coverage this year. Apart from highlighting contributions from women, from transgender, and from non-binary people in science, we have also done quite a bit of reportage. For example, we collaborated with freelance journalist Akriti, who did an investigation into the Pune Biocluster project, which was a big government project which somehow never took off and really affected many scientists in India. Similarly, we also had a webinar on sexual harassment, and we did a feature on funding delays. So these are all issues that are either taboo or or they affect so many people in little ways that they're not glamorous enough to be reported in many by the news. So I think we really did shake a few things up this year, and we look forward to be able to do that in the coming years also. Uh, and yeah, so I will finally come to the calendar and this tradition of ours, which is why everybody is here. And I just want to say, for those of you who maybe don't know, we started this calendar tradition in 2018, and it was in collaboration with the Institute of Mathematical Sciences in Chennai. And it was actually their idea, and that was the first year that we'd even heard about International Day for Women and Girls in Science. Cut to today, when we were making a Twitter thread of events that were happening today, and there were, I think, more than a dozen events happening on occasion of this day. So really, there has been some sort of shift in consciousness over the past 4 years. So we started off the calendar then, and for the next three, so it became sort of a tradition. And the first three editions of the calendar were highlighting individual contributions in science. So, each page would be one scientist, and we would be talking about her work. And then, actually, this is the point where I'm supposed to ask Shay, can you do the slideshow just so that people can see?
Sure.
Yeah, so Shantan will just take us through, as I'm talking, the pages of our previous calendar, so you can see how they looked and how they look today, just to sort of see the evolution of it. So yeah, so after we did 3 editions of the calendar focusing on, Indian women in science and their contributions, it really felt like we could afford to be a little more ambitious. We thought, okay, we could do this for 3 years really easily. So let's see, maybe let's see how we can evolve this tradition. And one thing that we thought of doing is let's shift away from the individual narrative, and it's high time that we all acknowledge what a group effort, what a collective effort that science is. The culture of awarding huge awards to singular sciences is really becoming outdated, and we felt like, let's see if we can find some way to honor groups of scientists, or just break away from the individual centric focus. So Shay, actually just pause. I'll just start with the fourth calendar. Yeah. So finally, in 2020, we thought that one, I think it's largely thanks to Shantan's joining our team. So, but I think really thanks to once Shantan joined our team, a lot of the things that me and Ashima knew and talked about, we, somehow it gave us the, I don't know what to call it, the strength, or just the imagination, or the guts to actually walk the talk. So we really started listening. I think we started listening a lot more to more marginalized voices, that intersection groups within women in science, and trans scientists and non-binary people in science. And so we were able to create our fourth calendar, which was an Indian women, transgender, and non-binary persons in science calendar. And another, I think, sort of breakthrough we were able to achieve with this calendar is, we thought, let's not only focus on who we call the scientists, who are typically the principal investigators in the lab. Let's also look at the other ways that people are contributing to the scientific ecosystem in India. So we were able to feature technicians, we featured grad students, science educators, journalists, activists, artists, who all in various ways were making Indian science what it is. So that felt like kind of a tall order to match this year. But this year we went back to our slightly sciencey roots. The title of the calendar was still the same, but we thought that let's focus on different areas of science, and let's try to stay as diverse as we were last year, and hopefully better, but let's choose the themes differently. So that's how this year's calendar came to be. And following last year, I think last year we featured about 42, 43 scientists. This year, I think there are 48 scientists in our calendar. And many of them are here. And I think we are meeting for the first time, and probably many of them are seeing each other for the first time as well. So it's quite exciting. We'll get to hear from a few of them as we go on today. But before that, we should probably do the unveiling of the calendar, which means that we will be showing you all the pages of the calendar for the first time. You've been seeing glimpses on social media, but not the whole thing. So maybe, oh yeah, so before I ask Ashima to do the unveiling, I just want to thank Cyrio, especially Suchita, who are our logistic partners this year. And if any of you have the calendars with you, it's thanks to Suchita's really gargantuan effort of, every day shipping. I don't know how her fingers must be really sore, but she's been doing such a great job helping us out, and I don't know what we would have done without her. With that, I'd like to ask Ashima to share the calendar with us, and maybe we can also match some names to faces.
Yes, of course. Thank you. So I'm going to share my screen and show you the calendar. If you have one with you, you could also just look at it while I talk. And just a note that this is the print ready file of the planner. So we have two products on the Instamojo shop. And this is the more expensive planner, which also has the planner side that goes with every month. So if you haven't ordered one, then it might come as a surprise to you. It does have a few small different elements. Yeah, so I want to begin firstly by thanking and pointing out and acknowledging the artist of this calendar who's here with us, Ipshita.
Ashima, really, is it possible to make it full screen?
Right. I can zoom in since it's a PDF file. Is that any better?
I think in your browser, there might be a full screen thing, but if you can't, it's better now.
Okay. Is this okay? Is it clear enough? Okay. Right, so this is our cover page, and again, I want to point out that this is a co-creation with the artist for this year, who is Ipshita, and we always go through a process to carefully choose the artist, or choose who we want to work with. And like every year, this time we're also feeling like we made the best decision. And really want to thank Ipshita for this. And they really took the lead on this, and we were really happy to follow. And we did kind of maybe annoy them a little with the tidbits that we wanted. And some of you also sent in your comments when we sent you the drafts. And thanks for those too. And it's really from Ipshita, Ipshita's vision, that it has come together so beautifully. So let's start with the February 2022 page. Do you see the zoom thing on the side? Okay. Maybe this is better. Okay.
No.
Sorry?
It's fine. It looks
okay.
Good.
Right, so this page is in memory of some of the people that we lost in the science community, and we know that at least 3 of them we lost to COVID. They are Priya Iyer, who's whose friends wrote a piece in her memory on clause in this season, which can be read if you want to hear about this very missed person from the science community. And also Ratna Shri, who was a planetarium director, Rinti at IIT Bombay, and Anjali Shiras. And I think this is a very heartwarming page, and also we wanted to put it just in the, at the get-go of the calendar, because we wanted to start with by not forgetting those we have been so close with and learned from, and they have been mentors for a lot of people in the community, and we thought that it would be a good place to start. And in the planner, you see on the planner page, there's also the special days, which is a little special thing you get when you get the calendar. And we also worked, the team worked hard to find these special days. And also we chose the ones, of course, there's a issue with space. So we chose the ones which the team resonated with the most, and a lot of them have to do with social justice, and they prod us to think further into who we are not including in our conversations about science. On the March page is, of course, COVID comes up again, and I remember somebody in the team said, let's put it in March, so that with the hope that by then it's gone and then we don't have to go through it again. We're still hoping that will be true. And this page features Aksha, who's a comic, who was profiled in a comic this season, and of course Priya, who's here with us, and Ritika, who just let us know that she really tried but can't be there, and Chandrakala and Priscilla from CMC, and Chandrakala from CSI Institute. NPL and NCL in Pune, yes. On the April 2022 page, we have people who work with neurodivergence, which is a very important field. It is also an emerging field of neuroscience. And we think that the scientists and the researchers featured here are doing really important work, and especially with including people in the scientific conversation in the country. And they are Shubha Nagesh, who works with the Latika Foundation in Dehradun, SS Meera, Chetna, and Rochelle. I have to go a little bit fast. So this is the mathematics page, which is really nice. I really liked the fractals that Ipshita worked with. And we were really excited about using fractals, the visuals of fractals, and making it very interesting. And Siddhi Pathak from CMI, Meeta Taraftar, and Sugandha Maheshwari are featured on this. And on the June page, we have the Flora and Fauna page. Many people have said this is their favorite looking page. It is also one of mine. I have too many favorites. But on here is Mehreen Khalil, a primatologist who works with langurs in Kashmir. Nurunisa, who was featured, whose work is featured in season 6 on the Life of Science. Kirti Priya, who's also featured in season 6 of the Life of Science. And Banjuvali Sridhar, who is a forest officer. By the way, if you want to speak about a page, or you have a thought you want to share while I'm talking, of course, you are free to do so. Just interrupt me. On the July 2022 page, we have GC Anupama, who was in charge of the Leh Observatory, a very important telescope for India in this time. Shilpa Dubal, who is an observer in close to Pune at the GMRT. It's a radio telescope. She was also featured in season 6 of The Life of Science. And we also have Ruby Noor and Harvinder, who were part of the very successful 365 Women in Science series on Twitter. And then we have my birthday month, August, which is also very visually very interesting page. And I really like the juxtaposition of the illustrations and the graphics in this one, and the pictures, of course. That's very unique that we haven't done in any of the calendars before. And on here is Shampa, who is with us, Gitanjali, who works in Lucknow, Falguni, I think she's also here, and Rohini Londe, who was the first person to be featured when we began season 6 in July last year. Sorry, okay. September 2022 features Ratnamala Chatterjee from IIT Delhi, Namrata Gundaya from IISc, who is a mechanical engineer who works with biological systems, and Sakshi, who is also here from IIT Jodhpur, who works with sensors and has in fact authored a piece about what it's like to be in a fabrication lab on cloths. There will be a post, so all of these links, like this QR code, leads us to a post on the Life of Science where one can read a lot more about all of the people featured here. We also have on this page Aparna Akula, who works in Chandigarh and is an image processing and artificial intelligence scientist. This is my favorite page, October 2022, one of my favorites. The first time I saw it, I missed seeing that these are the eggs. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's something like that. And on here is Radha, Sylvia, who's a very important voice in the food culture of India, and also Purnima, who is a nutrition policy expert. And the planner pages have a little doodle always on the side, which is reminiscing from the calendar page, which I really like. November 2022 is the music page, which is very, which piques your interest on all the things that science can do. Maybe us, people who are already in science don't think of it as a big wonder, but I hear that people who are not like in the science community directly are always amazed that there's so much science to be done with the arts and music. On here is Manjari, Vinu, Samira, who's also here, and Shantala. Sorry. Yeah, December 2022 is last month of this year. Seems very far away, but I'm sure it'll come very quickly. This is the HIV and AIDS themed page, which features Aparna and Amrita, who are both featured on a comics anthem made very recently. And we really admire the work that they've been doing. And also Ritu and Varsha. So already in the next year, we have the feminist science studies page. Also work that for us at onthelifeofscience.com is very important to counter and to enhance our understanding of science, and also how to do science communication. Like, this field really helps us, and these are the people that have recently inspired us to think about science as a sociology itself. And on here is Ashwati, Asha, and Ayush. And the last, but definitely not the least, we're back to this page, which is February for next year, 2023. And these are our computer scientists. This is also one of my favorite pages. And it features Puisi, Neildhara, and Kalika. And that's it.
Thanks, Ashu. Thanks everyone for, I mean, I know for some of you who are here, you probably have the calendar. So we were worried that this would take up too much time, but I think Ashu made it nice and engaging. So with this quickly, I'd like to, start hearing from some of you who are here, but can we start with Ipshita, who I know is probably jet lagged, but is still here. So Ipshita, can you talk for a couple of minutes just on maybe what it was like to work on this or whatever you
Absolutely.
like?
Can you all hear me?
Perfectly.
All right. First of all, I think it's, I can see that a lot of the people that have been researching their work, they're all present here, and it's been an honor because I had no idea. Like, I think working with TLOS, it just kind of introduced me. A lot of the work that you see here is inspired by all the amazing research that I read by. And of course, like, coming from somebody who is surrounded by people who are in the either the medical field or the scientific field, but I don't know, I don't always understand all the complexities that go into it. So it was really exciting as an amateur to go in and learn about all the incredible research being done, which I had no idea existed before this. And this has been a pretty much like a collaborative effort, because I know there were pages that I definitely got stuck in. And if it wasn't for the team members, like, I think we all brainstormed, and it was incredibly amazing to have the support. And yeah, I can't get over it, because it's incredible how it kind of came to. And I did start off with the page in June. I think that kind of set me up, which is, I think, our Flora and Fauna page. And that's what I started with. And I'm so glad I started with that page, because that really set the tone. I had no idea how I was going to approach this. But once that page, I saw the visuals, I saw the found images, and a lot of the articles, and I think the research that was shared from the TLOS website, as well as like researching a bit. I went through a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of interviews, and it really kind of like made me realize that this is such rich knowledge here, and how to kind of visualize it. And so that was the page that I began with. And once I figured it out, I realized that a digital collage was like the best way to kind of be able to kind of highlight, the specific areas of research that were being undertaken by everyone featured here. And I really wanted to get into the niche as much as possible. And yeah, and I feel like each page has been a journey, because I know I've spent like so much time on it. But yeah, but I think it was a little bit of a chaotic process in the middle. I know we had a lot of back and forth, and a deadline was extended for sure, so that I could like make more. And yeah, like, I'm really, really proud of it. And I'm so like excited and happy to have had the opportunity to work on this. Yeah.
Thanks, Ikshita. And I just want
You're
to say that
welcome.
Ipshita call themselves an amateur, but I would encourage you to look at some of their work, and it's so amazing. And I hope you get like unlimited projects and everything you want.
I
Yeah.
just want to come in for a very brief moment and say, when we
Yeah.
were actually shortlisting our artist, I remember that Ipshita's application came in the day the deadline was closing,
Yeah.
and that almost, the team was going to meet soon and decide the artist. And Ipshita's application came in 2-3 minutes before we were going to close. And we looked at it and we were like, okay, I mean, this is it. So I don't think Ipshita is an amateur at all. Thank you so much, Ipshita, for doing this with us.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So I think Priya, I thought it would be nice if some of course, no pressure, but if some of the calendar scientists wanted to say a few words, I thought I would ask Priya because Priya said she might have to leave earlier. Priya, would you like to say a few words? Just
No, I mean, I'm really thrilled to be on this call with all of you. The calendars come out superb. I think due to some goof up, the calendar hasn't, not from your end, the goof up from my end, the calendar hasn't arrived. But it's amazing to meet all of you. And, it's so heartwarming to know that there are women of such diverse talent, and all from within our country, which is even more heartwarming, at least from what I could glean. And what I would like to say is, for women who have achieved so much and are in a position of influence, I really think it is incumbent on us that we reach out to our younger fraternity. And, by and by, we get used to identifying, we may not be always correct, but identifying women who are little at crossroads, girls who are at crossroads and not sure whether this is the path to take. And I think, we are not doing anybody a favor. I think it's our duty to reach out to them and tell them, show them a little of our own vulnerable self. And that helps youngsters to, understand that, I can do it too. So I have taken it on myself, and perhaps what we in a National Institute of Virology did. We detected the first COVID cases for India. We did the first, testing, sent out 64 lakhs worth of RT-PCR reactions to the length and breadth of the country. We've done a lot of validation, helping Make in India kits come up, because at one time, the world was almost going dry with, testing reagents. And we helped a lot of Made in India entrepreneurs to come to the fore. And, so we are comfortable with surplus reagents to, do the testing. And of course, the crowning glory, apart from isolating the virus, being only the 5th country in the world to do so, was to hand over the virus and work with pharma to make the first indigenous vaccine for India. And that was a journey. And I'm very proud to tell you that of this team that worked for it, we were 60%. Okay, so we have worked really difficult years for us. But looking back, there's a sense of accomplishment across the board, young and old. And, the good thing about it is it puts us in a position where we So I think it's a great day. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So maybe I can ask anyone who wants to volunteer to speak. I do know that our first page, one of the scientists featured on this month's page, Anjali Shiras, I think her husband Suhas is here. I don't know if Suhas wants to say a few words. Suhas, would you like to, if you like to speak, then please feel free. There's no pressure though. Okay. Oh,
Hi.
okay. Hi.
Yeah. So Swas Shuras here.
Hi.
The very thought that to recognize the efforts of women in the field of science in itself is very heartwarming. Uh, Traditionally, though there are not many areas where the class ceiling is broken by women, the number of scientists, women scientists in this field, I think, are still much lesser compared to the male scientists. And the view of generally looking towards women scientists is that what kind of research they would do. Just now we heard Dr. Priya Abraham, and I'm sure because at that initial point of time, Anjali had been to NIV and was telling me about all the work that NIV is doing at a high space. So this thought that you people have put together and brought such a nice calendar and a planner out is really a good memorabilia for many of the people. Though I'm directly connected to it, but to whosoever I'm now giving it, they also found it very thrilling idea that such efforts are being recognized and they're in front of you for the entire year. So kudos to you and your team that you've taken up such novel work and brought out many aspects of women who are working in science. Thanks a lot, Nita.
Thank you so much, Suhas. So just, I mean, in case anybody missed it, Suhas is the husband of Dr. Anjali Shiras, who unfortunately passed away not very long ago. So maybe I would anyone else like to volunteer to speak?
Can I do that?
Yes, please,
And
Kavita.
I'm so sorry, I have to leave in like 10 minutes, if that's all right. So I'm really thrilled to see the calendar online because I ordered it and I believe it would have gone to Bangalore, but I'm not in Bangalore right at the moment. So when I reach there, I'm pretty excited. I made sure I get some for my sisters. At least another sister of mine, a couple of sisters of mine are also women in science, so it's very appropriate for them. Coming from like a field where we never have a dearth of women wanting to join at a certain level, like at an undergraduate or as a software engineer, it is a coveted area that women want to get into, but then it just stops, right? Like if you look at the number of women PhDs or women who go on to do science in the field of computational technology, etc., computer science, and take it as a research area, it drops drastically. And the same thing that people have in other science areas, I'm sure, are the same concerns that women have. I've had so many young women come to me and ask me, like, how can I go in for research? How can I become a computer scientist when I have to, you know, spend 5, 6, 7 years of my life doing a PhD or dedicating it to research, and I can't. I'll have to get married. I'll have other family responsibilities, and I think having such initiatives like yours goes a long way in kind of connecting them to other people, and letting them see that this is not an impossible task. This is not something that they can't do. They can absolutely do it if they want to do it. It's like it's just their choice, and there are people and there are organizations and institutions that can support them in doing this. So kudos to all of you, and this is fantastic. I'm just so thrilled to have found this group of people who are doing all this.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I know that I've been I mean, I've heard of you a few years ago, and I've always been waiting for this opportunity to somehow work with you, and I'm glad. I hope it comes again.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. I saw earlier Amrita was here. It would be really nice to hear from Amrita, because I think many of us have read the comics that Shantan made on Amrita and Aparna's work. And
I think Amrita is no more here. She's
Amrita's left. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
No worries, no worries. Is anyone else here would like to speak? We have someone.
Nandita, I would like to say a few words.
Please, Shampa.
Yeah. First of all, thanks a lot. Mane, to be very honest, this calendar has helped me in more ways than one. First, like when I actually got to know about, I got your email that, I will be featured in the calendar. It was very exciting, of course. But there are a few things that really has been helpful after I got the calendar in hand, or after the pages, became visible, I could post on Facebook. So I work on Drosophila, and I also work on evolutionary biology. To people outside science, both of these terms are not very exciting, actually. You tell that you work on cancer biology, everybody appreciates, whether they're in science or not. You talk about, oh, I work with some flies. You tell them that during the lockdown, I had to take police permission to go to my lab and take care of my flies. People almost laughed at my back. Then I have relatives, neighbors who sometimes, I'm not in Bangalore. I did my PhD from Bangalore, but I am in Bhubaneswar, where I run the only Drosophila lab. In my student circle, colleague circle, it's fine. For other people, it does not make a lot of sense what I do. But now that when they're seeing the calendar, when they're reading the page, that what model organisms are, suddenly the respect for me has grown up a lot. And I owe it all to you guys. It's a brilliant idea to bring science to everyone. So it's just not for the scientists. It is, I think, a big thing to popularizing science by articles is one thing. Popularizing science through a calendar, it's really, really nice. Thank you so much, the entire KLOS team. You have done a great job. Thank you.
Really, really kind of you to say that. And I mean, for us, it was just really exciting to hear about your work. And I'm so glad it's working out for you also, and it's benefiting you in some way.
Thank you.
I actually saw that, sorry, was somebody speaking?
Falguni here.
Falguni, yes. Hi.
So it's really a very good feeling to be featured on this calendar. And yesterday, my colleague, Dr. Shantala and Dr. Meera, we all met the director, and she was equally warm and reciprocating, to us being featured on the calendar, and the thought of it itself, of bringing so many women from diverse fields together. So I was just thinking, if we can, all of us, like there are 40 or 48 of us, and if we can put in our work in a very lucid manner, in just a half-page summary with some illustrations, probably that could go on to, help students understand, or maybe the in students, in the sense, I think around 5th or 6th standard students, who can understand what science is all about, because that's the time when they really think about science, and many of them have these ideas of becoming scientists. So why not nurture them, make them understand what are the different fields that are available, so make it easy for them to understand. That's what I feel. And maybe, circulate lay summaries or something for general public to understand that what we are doing. Because I have heard this from many people, and generally people have a feeling that the studies, the work that is being done abroad is of much better and applicable quality. So we have to probably, emphasize that a lot of us are also looking at science which is applicable to India, to our conditions and to our requirements. We are catering to diverse requirements as well. So if some thoughts in this perspective can be worked upon, or something, if we can contribute. And Dr. Shantala is also here, and she has beautiful ways of putting and expressing things. So maybe she also can help us understand what can be done and how better can it be, or rather how can it be improvised upon. Thank you for having me on the calendar. And it's a very beautiful moment, and the most proud person whom I saw, I mean, the most beautiful smile that I saw after the release of the calendar was on my mother's face and my husband's face. And my son was just, like he's a 25-year-old boy. So he said he felt proud. So these are the people who mattered to me most, and they were always there for me. So thank you. You made a dream a reality. It used to be like you saw so many calendars and so many calendar girls, and also you. So finally, at 50 years plus, you are a calendar girl, and kudos to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Falguni. And actually, it is quite remarkable that we got to feature, I think, 3 of you from NIMHANS. And I had no idea that there's so much different kinds of, I always thought NIMHANS is just this, one kind of research being done, but it was really inspiring.
And probably you will get to meet many more dynamic women. And it will be close to sometime whenever you feel like coming.
Yeah, and I like the idea of your collaboration, and maybe we can work on it also. Thanks, Falguni.
Thanks so much.
Is Shilpa still here? I would love to hear from, I think, somebody in Astro, and we all really were fans of Shilpa's work. Would you like to speak, Shilpa? If you don't want to speak, it's okay. I think I saw her earlier.
Anupama is also here.
Oh, Anupama is? Okay, I didn't see her actually. I thought Shilpa is the only Astro represented. Anupama, would you like to say something?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was indeed an honor for me to be featured on this. And, as I've heard from the others also, I shared their views that having a calendar in which you have the women scientists, this is, a lot more than what the outreach activities that we do in our various organizations, what we do. This is a lot more than that. I think the reach that this has is really much more. And, the fact that this calendar features women from various disciplines. It has been, going through the calendar was really wonderful for me. I learned about so many disciplines and, about so many other women scientists in the country. And, as Falguni was mentioning, that we really need to be proud of what we are doing, because, several of us have been achieving things of international standards without really having the kind of facilities that are available outside. And I think this is something that we really need to be proud of. And, the work that you people are doing, not just a calendar, but the post on Twitter, featuring a woman scientist every day, that was really fantastic. And, hats off to you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Anupama. Thanks for coming. It would be really nice to have someone from the music page say something. I think Manjari is here, or Samira, or anyone.
Yeah. May I? Or if Manjari is there?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So continuing from where Falguni just mentioned, we were celebrating together, and in fact with her here. And we were just jokingly saying we don't have to lose any weight to be the calendar girls for the year. in a very lighter note, but yeah, indeed, wonderful work by the entire team. So many thanks, and more so, I just quickly will tell you the journey that I had, because I did my bachelor's in arts, and everybody used to wonder, why have I taken up arts and psychology? And, so the connection between psychology and science and 20 years ago or 15 years ago is kind of unheard of. Today, of course, you have psychology combinations with zoology, botany, and other science disciplines. And from then on, to become a clinical psychologist, and then to take up neuropsychology, and then the marriage between my hobby, my passion, music, and neuroscience. So it's kind of a long journey, but it's been so meaningful in that sense. And I think the journey has just begun. There's so much more to learn, so much more to do. So you're always grounded and humble that way. And this calendar has only added to that impetus, or the confidence, as someone mentioned, you feel so proud, your family is proud. And many a times, being a clinician, I see so many patients, but there is still a lot more to do in our country, especially with regard to advocacy of mental health, or talking about the role of clinical psychologists or neuropsychologists. Many even do not know, when I say I'm a neuropsychologist, what exactly do I do? Forget the common people, but many medical professionals would wonder, what is my role? And there is need to kind of make it as, as students or young school graduates to know, or young people to know about different disciplines that exist in the field of science, not just the traditional pedagogies that are there. So in that sense, the kind of themes that you have chosen, the way you have put it across, it's just so amazing. And thank you. So I thank on behalf of all the members who have been featured in this calendar, and I'm truly humbled. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Shantala. We really hope to, in our season 7 now, to get to know a lot of you a lot better, and your work, and also help other people find out what it is that all of you are doing. Since you spoke about the arts and how that also becomes a very much part of science, could we have maybe somebody from the FSS page, the science feminist science studies page? If I don't know if Ayush is still there.
Unfortunately, Ayush has left.
Ayush has left. Okay. So they're approaching 6 o'clock. So I think, okay, but we have a few more minutes. So if anyone else would like to say anything, or even somebody who isn't in the calendar, if any of you folks want to say anything, we have a few minutes to go.
Manjari, I see you are speaking, but you're muted.
Yeah, as always. Hi, so I wanted to say something. First of all, I just want to say I'm so grateful for this effort, this huge effort that you all have taken over so many years. And I have joined Twitter somewhat recently, and I discovered it very organically, because so many of my women friends in science, they all were following you, and all so many men who are supportive of women in science. I think the life of science has really given a lot of life to many of us who work in science. So I'm really grateful. I want to say that. And I have discovered how much thought there has gone into each of your calendars. And that is also it's wonderful to see the beautiful artwork, but also the thought that has gone into each of these pages, how you have put these things together. So long back when I joined ISER Mohali, one of the students came to my office, whatever that was, of an office, and said that, I am just so happy to see that you are a woman who is in science and who also has a family, because it gives me hope that it is possible. So, and that was a very strange kind of a conversation. And I thought it was, when I thought a little bit more about it, I realized that in fact, getting role models in science in general, it doesn't have to be a mother in science, but in general, finding role models in science was never easy for me. I am not sure if I have a role model in science. And whenever I looked around, it's difficult for everybody, I guess, but for women, I think it is even harder, because there's so many things that we cannot relate to. The challenges are different, and the pressures are disparately, I think, higher for women. So there again, I'm really grateful to the Life of Science for giving me this huge repository of role models in science for me. Now I'm going through each one of, there are so many familiar faces here. I see Shampa, I see Samira. There is, of course, I know of many of you. Shantala, I know of you. I also knew of Asha, Chutan, Kirti Priya, I know her very well. So there are so many known faces, but so many new faces. I was making notes of potential collaborators right now as you were speaking. So I have made my notes. So I am also thankful for that. So thank you for all of this. And I think I'm going to put this feature as part of my awards and recognition category in my CV, which is otherwise very sparsely populated. So I'm going to add this one. I guess that should be okay. So thank you so much. Really grateful.
Thanks, Manjari. Shilpa, I saw your message. No worries. We're just really glad that you could come, even if you couldn't talk. Thank you so much. So, I mean, we're almost out of time, but if anyone else would like to speak, we can have a few ending comments, or we can sign off. I'll wait a few seconds to see if anyone.
Yeah, Nandita, I would like to say
Yes,
something.
Sakshi, yes, we have an engineering sage representative.
Yeah, great. So first of all, thank you very much for this lovely calendar. And I remember when Ashima shared this as a draft, and I had some thoughts to put in, and I told her if we can do this or do that. But Ipshita, it was nowhere in comparison to what you have done. It's amazing. I just noticed that there was a header on our calendar is something very much relevant to what I do. But I did not expect that to be coming up so beautifully. So it's really pretty, really. Hats off to you. Lovely. And I think many of us have already spoken and said that this platform actually gave us a good way to connect to new people. So like Manjari mentioned that she knows a lot of people, but to me, many of you are new. So, and like she mentioned that she's taking notes, actually something that I was also doing to understand if I can connect to people and say have a better network. Yeah. So great. Thank you, Life of Science. It's been really great to be staying in touch with you, and we look forward to a longer engagement with you. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely, Sakshi. Thank you so much. So I think maybe with that we can
Aishwarya
end.
has something to say.
Aishwarya is here. Are
Yeah.
Aishwarya?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Hi, everyone. So not many may know me, but I'm the newest member of the Life of Science. I've been here for a little over a year. So often when you see Twitter posts, they're usually me or Nandita, of course, and Instagram as well. But when I joined the Life of Science, the first job or the first role that I was doing was the 365 series, the 365 Indian Women in STEM. So every single day, Nandita and I would find somebody, and then she would write it up. And every morning started with me posting the new 365 Indian Women in STEM. And through that, I've learned about 365 women in STEM. And I honestly did not think that there were so many, of course, as I'm a student at ISER Mohali, and one of my first role models are actually on this calendar page in the calendar now, and she's here as well. So for me, for 1 year, my 1 year anniversary, for it to have become a calendar with these women on the pages and to see you all here, and of course being a master's student in science, and it's hard enough to be a student in science, let alone be a woman scientist. So it's been really inspiring to read all of your stories. And thank you for responding to my emails, because I probably sent a lot to many of you. Together here, and it's been really, really nice to have this come out of that.
Yeah, I think I couldn't have given any ending comments that are nicer than that. So thanks, Aish. And I mean, of course, couldn't have done 365 without you for sure.
I think comments. Like this whole project really is about building solidarities, because really this is not just a wishy-washy celebration. What we're doing here is challenging the gender gap, challenging narratives, and trying to change something. And all of we do it in this creative way. And really, it's really heartwarming to hear you say that you meet people and you're looking for collaborators and you're putting notes down. This is really all we need to hear. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thanks everyone who came, and people who stuck behind. We're only 7 minutes late, so it's okay. I just want to say, for the benefit of people who might be listening to this later, we've just the QR code on your calendar leads to a page that has just gone live, I think an hour back. So you can get all more information about it there. And we're also releasing a digital version of the calendar, a printable version, which can be bought from our InstaVojo store. But apart from that, also a low-res version of the digital calendar is available for free for anyone to download, really. So, feel free to WhatsApp it to distribute the calendar in whatever manner you like. We have about, I think, maybe 40 calendars left, which people can order. So please urge anyone you like to do that, and all the proceeds will be part of what we have to work with for season 7. So this really helps. Thanks again. I'm using my phone, so I cannot really see comments, but I hope there's no other message from me. But thank you so much. I saw Vena's comment. Thanks, Vena, for coming. And thanks, everybody, really. It was a really nice 1 hour, nice, cozy affair. Have a happy weekend and keep in touch. Bye-bye.
Just want to say a big, big thank you to the team.
Thank you, Priya.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.